Here, our goal is to calculate the size of angle X. Notice that angle X is this angle right here, and it's inside of an isosceles triangle. Now, how do we know that this triangle is an isosceles triangle? Well, we know it's an isosceles triangle because two sides of this triangle are equal. Two sides of this triangle are congruent. And we know that because this side length and also this side length have one stroke or has one line through it. And that indicates that both of the lines are equal in measure. And so since both of the sides are equal, that means that we're dealing with an isosceles triangle. And here we're going to use an important or useful geometrical rule which states that two angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. And so we already know that we're dealing with an isosceles triangle, and we already know that two sides of this triangle are equal, but also two angles inside this triangle are also equal. So the base angles, this angle along with this angle, they are equal because we are in an isosceles triangle. And so since we know that the size of this angle is 74 degrees, we know that the size of angle X is going to be 74 degrees because two angles in an isosceles triangle must be equal. And we already know that one is 74. So that means that the other one, which is another base angle, is going to be 74 degrees as well. So the size of angle X is 74 degrees. Next, our goal is to determine the size of angle Y. Notice that we can use these two geometrical rules. The rule says that two angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, which we noted before. That's why this is 74 and this is 74. And angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And so that means that the sum of 74y and 74 must add up to 180 degrees. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add 74 and 74, and then we're going to subtract that sum from 180 to get the value of y. And so we have that y is equal to 180 minus 74 plus 74. 74 plus 74 is definitely 148. And so we get that y is equal to 180 minus 148. And so y is going to be equal to 32 degrees. And so that means that the size of angle y is 32 degrees. Next, let's move on to another question. Here, they want us to determine the size of angle z. Now, angle z is right here. We already know that angle x is 74 degrees, but angle z is right here. Now, notice that we're going to use this useful geometrical rule, which states that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Here, we have angle x and z on a straight line. They are at a common point, which means that they must add up to 180 degrees. And so, in order for us to determine the size of angle z, remember angle z and angle x, when we add them up, they should equal to 180 degrees. So what must z be? So we're going to subtract. We're going to take 180 and subtract it with 74, and z is going to be equal to 180 minus 74. And so this is going to be 180 minus 74, which is going to be 106. And so that means that angle z is going to be 106 degrees.